Hello friends, in this video all 3 marks question of question paper of 11th class held in 2018 March are shown. So you can check all the 3 marks question here. For 5 marks, 2 marks and 1 marks videos you can check different videos whose links are given into the descriptions. So keep on watching. This is question number 10. Write down the postulates of kinetic theory of gases. Now let us discuss one by one. The first postulate, gases consist of large number of identical particles called molecules. Second one, molecule of a gas are very small in size as compared to the distance between them. Third one, molecule are perfectly elastic spheres. Molecules are in state of continuous random motion in all directions with different speeds. Molecules collide with themselves and the wall of the container. Collision will be perfectly elastic. Molecules do not exert any force of attraction or repulsion on each other. Collisions are instantaneous, and between the two successive collisions, molecules moves in straight line path called mean free path, So this was question number 10. Was of 3 marks. Now moving towards the next question, that is question number 11. Question number 11, establish the relation between coefficient of friction and angle of friction. We know that the force of friction F, that is equal to mu into R, where F is force of friction, mu is coefficient of friction and R is the normal reaction. We have to draw the relation between angle of friction. Now first of all, let us try to understand the angle of friction. For that, let us make a diagram like this, that this is the surface, smooth horizontal surface on which a body is placed like this. The weight of the body is mg, acts vertically downwards, and a normal reaction will act opposite to that, that is R. Let force applied on this body, that is in this direction, that is this is the applied force, and in this direction let force of friction is acting, since force of friction acts opposite to the applied force. Now the resultant of these two forces, let us try to make the resultant. I am just drawing the dotted lines here. So this will be the resultant of these two forces. So the resultant which makes angle with normal reaction, this is known as angle of friction. Let we represent this angle of friction by alpha. So we can simply define the angle of friction here, that it is the angle between the resultant of force of friction and normal reaction with normal reaction is known as angle of friction. So this is alpha. So let now this point O, let us consider this point M, let us consider this is the point N and this is point P. Now from this triangle OMP, this is the triangle. In this triangle, tangent alpha, that is equal to MP divided by OM. Now if we look here, then MP is equal to ON, which is equal to F, and OM, which is equal to PN, and which is equal to R. So we can use value of F and R here. So this is F and this is R. Say this was the equation number 1. From 1 we get, that is mu, this is equal to F upon R. Now using this value here we get, that is tangent alpha, that is equal to mu. So this is the relation which is the required relation. So this was the relation which was required. angle of friction and coefficient of friction. Now moving towards the next question. Next question is question number 12. The centripetal force acting on a particle moving in circular orbit depends upon mass, radius of the circle r and velocity of particle v. Obtain the formula for the centripetal force using dimensional method. So we have to use here dimensional method. So for dimensional method, let us write this formula. Let F force depends upon mass power A and r power B and on velocity with powers c. We don't know what are the powers are there, but we just consider m raised to the power A, r powers B and v powers c. So we know that dimensional formula for m is m1. For radius is the length, so the dimensional formula is L1, and velocity dimensional formula is L1 t minus 1. Now writing the dimensional formula here, we may get that is m1 raised to the power A, r is L1, so L1 raised to the power B, and v, that is L1 t minus 1 raised to the power c. Now here the dimensional formula for force is m1 L1 t minus 2, m1 L1 t minus 2. We can write like this. So this is ma, lb and lc t minus c. Now write that is ma, lb plus c and t minus c, and here m1 L1 t minus 2. Now comparing the dimensions on both sides, we get what we get. You can see here m raised to the power A and here m raised to the power 1. So A is equal to 1. Again L raised to the power B plus C and here L raised to the power 1. So B plus C is equal to 1, and here minus C is there, T raised to the power, and here it is minus 2. Then we can write minus C is equal to minus 2. Then C is equal to 2. Again put the value of this C from here to this here, that is B plus 2 is equal to 1. This implies that B is equal to minus 1. So the value of A is equal to 1, B is equal to minus 1 and C is equal to 2. Using all these values in this equation, we get F that is equal to m raised to the power A is 1 here, B r raised to the power B is minus 1 here, so we can write minus 1, and C raised to the power 2, C is equal to 2, then V raised to the power C, we can write V raised to the power 2. So writing this, F is equal to m V square divided by R, which is the required relation. So this was question number 12, and this is the relation which was required in this formula. Now moving towards the next question, that is question number 13. Question number 13 says that establish the relation between torque and moment of inertia in rotational motion and define from it moment of inertia. So we have to define the moment of inertia from this relation. Consider we have a body of irregular, somewhat like this, having masses. Let us consider different particles are there with masses m1, say m2, and here it is mn. Let this is the axis of rotation, the body is about which the body is rotating. Then let us consider the r1 be the distance of first particle from the axis of rotation. Similarly, let us consider r2 be the distance of the second particle from the axis of rotation. This is the axis of rotation, and similarly we can understand that this is the distance of the nth particle which we have considered. So this is these are the distances. Let alpha is the angular acceleration here, alpha is the angular acceleration. Let alpha, that is angular acceleration for this. Now if a1, a2 and so on an be the linear acceleration for the particles, then we can write that a1 is equal to r1 alpha, because we know that the relation between linear and angular acceleration is equal to a is equal to r alpha. We know that this is the relation between these two, so we can write like this. So a1 is equal to r1 alpha, a2 is equal to r2 alpha, and so on, an is equal to rn alpha. We can write like this. Now for force we can write F1, that is equal to mass into acceleration. So we can write that is m1 a1, and a1 can be written like this, that is m1 r1 alpha. Similarly, force for the second particle F2, that is equal to m2 r2 alpha, and force for nth particle is equal to mn rn alpha. So these are the forces acting on the particles. Now the torque. We know that torque that is equal to r into f, radius multiplied by the distance multiplied by the force. We can simply write like this. So this implies that this torque on the first particle τ1, that is equal to r1 f1, force on the first particle. Similarly, torque on second particle, that is equal to r2 f2, and similarly torque on nth particle, that will be equal to rn fn. Now using these values from here, using all these values in this equation, we get that is torque on first particle, that is equal to r1, and the value of f1 is m1 r1 alpha, then m1 r1 alpha, then we can write that is m1 r1 square alpha. Similarly, torque on second particle, we can write that is m2 r2 square alpha, and so on. Torque on nth particle, we can write that is mn rn square alpha. Now the total torque we can write that is tau, this is equal to τ1 τ2 plus and so on tau n. We can write like this. So simply we can write that is m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square, alpha is here, plus and so on, plus mn rn square alpha. This is the total torque acting on this. Now taking this alpha common, because it is in all terms, so we can write that is m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square, plus and so on, mn rn square, and taking this alpha common, we can write like this. Now we can write simply that is tau m1 r1 square, m2 r2 square, mn rn square. This is known as moment of inertia, and we can write I alpha. So the relation between torque and moment of inertia, that comes out tau is equal to I alpha, which is the required relation. Here this was the required relation, moment of inertia. Now define, next part is define moment of inertia from it. So we can define this moment of inertia simply by putting some values. Let here if alpha is equal to 1, then tau is equal to I. Thus moment of inertia of a body about an axis is defined as the torque acting on it when the body rotates with unit angular, because here alpha is 1, with unit angular acceleration. About the axis. Here question number 14 is explain second law of thermodynamics with the help of suitable diagram. It states that heat cannot be transferred from a cold body to hot body by itself, or we can write without doing external work. So this is the statement of the second law of thermodynamics. So now let us try to make the diagram. Let us consider this is the body which is called cold body. Say this is at temperature T2. Now heat is transferred. We are drawing the heat from this. So we have to do work on this. As per statement, it says that heat cannot be transferred by itself, but we have to do some external work. So this is the work acting on this. This is the system, and let Q2 is the amount of heat taken from the cold body, and this is the Q1 is the amount of heat transferred to the hot body. This is at hot body at temperature say T1. Mathematically, if you want to write the equations for this, so we can simply write that is Q1 is equal to work plus Q2, or work that is equal to, we can simply write Q1 minus Q2. Now moving towards the question number 15. Question number 15 is what is meant by center of mass of a system, and the next part is obtain expression for the center of mass of a system consisting of two particles. So let us first write this first part of this. What is center of mass?
It is the point inside or outside of a body where whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated.
The next part of the question, it is saying that obtain expression for center of mass of a system consisting of two particles.
For that, let us try to make a diagram in which two axes are taken. Let this is particle mass m1 and this is mass m2. Let this is the position vector r1 for first particle and r2 is the position vector for second particles. These are the two particles m1 and m2 separated by some distance. This is point O, and let mass 1 is,
here we said F1 is the force acting on first particle and F2 is the external forces acting on these particles respectively. So their velocities becomes V1 and V2 be the velocities of these particles. Now by definition we can simply write d by dt of m1 v1, because Newton's second law defines that rate of change of linear momentum is directly proportional to the force. Now force acting on the particles, that these are the particles on which two type of forces are acting. One is the external force. Here external force on first particle is F1, and another is the internal force. Internal force is between the particle. Internal force, that is force exerted on first particle by second and force exerted on second particle by first. So if I write F12 is the force acting on first particle due to second. So I can simply write like this. This is the force acting on first particle due to second. So this is equation number 1. Now moving towards the second particle, that is d by dt, that is m2v2, that is equal to force acting on second particle is F2 plus F21. F21 is the force acting on second particle due to first. Let us consider these are the forces, maybe attractive repulsive, something like that. So these are the forces acting on the second particle. So these two forces are acting on this. Now adding these equations, that is adding 1 and 2, we get that d by dt of m1v1 plus m2v2, 1v1 plus d by dt m2v2, that is equal to f1 plus f12 plus f2 plus f21. This is the equation. According to Newton's third law, as per Newton's third law, forces are equal and opposite, so they will cancel out each other. So internal forces cancel out each other by Newton's third law. So we can write by Newton's third law, that is F12 is negative of F21, so they will cancel out each other. So in this expression here, this becomes 0. So this factor will become 0. Then we can simply write, that is d by dt m1v1 plus m2v2 is equal to f, where f, that is equal to f1 plus f2, because internal forces cancel out each other, so we left with f1 and f2, and at the place of f1 and f2 I am just writing f. So this is f. Now as we know that v is equal to dr by dt, rate of change of displacement. Velocity is equal to rate of change of displacement. So we can change here somewhere like this. Next step, that is d by dt m1. Here we can use dr1 divided by dt plus m2 dr2 divided by dt. That can be written in next step, that is d by dt. Now taking d by dt out of this, that is d by dt m1 r1 plus d by dt m2 r2. This can be written like this, that is accumulating these d's, that is d2 by dt square, and inside we can write, that is m1 r1 plus m2 r2, that is equal to f, where f is the force acting on these particles. Now dividing and multiplying this equation, say this is equation number 3. Next step, dividing and multiply this equation number 3 by m1 plus m2. So we get m1 plus m2 d2 by dt square, that is m1 r1 plus m2 r2 divided by m1 plus m2, that is equal to f. Here one should clear in mind that m1 plus m2 that is equal to m, which is the total mass of the 40, that is a combination of the two masses m1 and m2. So we can simply write like this, that is force F that is equal to m1 plus m2, that is the total mass, d2 by dt square into r vector. This is the equation number 4, where r, capital R, that is equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 divided by m1 plus m2, called position vector for center of mass.
This was the part of the question paper carrying 3 marks. So all 3 marks question are solved in this part. For 5 marks question, another video is there, you may check out that. And to get the latest notification, please click on subscribe button and notification icon so that you get the latest videos. Thank you.